It was awesome. I was talking to April during cocktails, and she presented actually our New York City Summit a couple of years ago before she raised her Series A, and just to see her present there, people being skeptical, but then seeing her ascendance, and Adam and the company at Spring Health has been amazing. And she even asked me earlier tonight, she said, who should I meet here? I'm like, there are just a room of amazing founders that are just doing amazing stuff like you. And this is really for all you guys. So again, thank you for everybody that got honored here, as well as everyone here in the room. You guys are really the core of what we're doing here in New York City Tech, and we really appreciate you. So thank you again for everybody here. So as you guys know, this is a brand new event for us, which means that this is our very first time inducting someone into the New York City Tech Hall of Fame. Something we look forward to making a definitive who's who of New York City's really kind of tech leaders. So there's one person we knew that we had to be the first inductee. This person could have packed it up and retired after DoubleClick went public in 1998, or when Google acquired the company in 2007. But he sure didn't do that. And today, there's no one who's doubled down in New York City again and again and again, the way that he has. Just ask the teams at MongoDB, Business Insider, Guild Group, Zola, Nomad Health, Pearl Health, and Transcend Therapeutics, just to name a few, which is amazing. He not just comes back to keep building, but has built and fine-tuned an incubation machine that keeps accelerating and producing even more impressive results. What's made this even most impressive is that he's not just stamping his name on all these iconic companies, he's truly in the weeds, building alongside them. When the healthcare partner, Sam Toole, was one of the first employees at Nomad Health, Kevin was in the office, Nomad Health folks, Kevin was in the office on a weekly basis and deeply involved in a material way. Many of his friends and collaborators are here with us this evening, will tell you the same thing. The attention he gives each company is sustained too. Susan Lyon for BBG is here. She's here with us tonight, and Susan shared with us this quote: one of the reasons Kevin is such a successful investor is that he never leaves anyone behind. Every investment creates new lines in the Kevin Ryan tech family tree. DoubleClick sold to Google 17 years ago, but Kevin still brings together the early team every few years. His annual Guild reunion, which is legendary, draws a couple hundred people from all over the country. When other VCs talk about their networks, they mean their contact list. Kevin's network is a living, breathing collection of the best of the New York City tech community. He really is the godfather of Silicon Alley. The companies he's nurtured are now sizable employers here in New York City, and beyond that, create a huge impact. And his descendants on a powerful startup hub. And he's in the weeds on making New York City a better place to live too. For serving on the board as a founding member of Tech NYC, as vice chairman of the partnership in New York City, as a member of the Council on Foreign Relations to supporting public spaces like Governor's Island, to funding public health initiatives, to working with the city on initiatives ranging from fair wages to better tech for the MTA. This is a sample size from his impressive list of accomplishments and contributions. And most recently, he's a true leader. Our city cannot be luckier to have him in our court. And for that, we're honored to induct him in the New York City Tech Hall of Fame and invite up here to say a few words. So give a round of applause to Kevin Ryan, our first inducted.
Well, first of all, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Primary, for putting this event together. It's not just that I'm deeply appreciative of this award and this night tonight, but Primary is an example of what is being built and what is being incredibly successfully built in New York. In a short time, they're having a huge impact on the New York ecosystem through their summit, through this, and really innovative. I think all of us watch what they do and can learn from what they do. So thank you very much for that. I also want to thank the AlleyCorp team, and I want to thank many of the founders. There's probably 15, 20 people here who I've worked with in the past who have started companies, people who invested in our companies 20 years ago. See Chip over there, who was an early investor in DoubleClick in 1997, 1998. And so I've watched this ecosystem build over almost 30 years. So it's scary to think, but I started a website in 1995 when I worked for a large media company, and that became successful. DoubleClick started in 1996. 2 years later, we went public in the good old days when you went public 24 months after you started. We need to bring those days back because they were really, really fun. Don't knock a bubble until you've been in it. It's really great. So, and 4 years later, after starting, we had 2,000 employees in 25 countries. It was worth 10 billion when 10 billion was a real number. And it was an extraordinary beginning to this whole ecosystem for me. And I keep doing this because there's nothing more fun. We start 7 or 8 companies a year. We invest in 15 to 20 of a portfolio of about 120 companies. About 70% are in New York. And what is most validating and incredible is to see what has happened. So just when we were raising money for DoubleClick, one of the issues we had when we went out to the West Coast was that we had to move the company to the West Coast for them to actually invest in us because they considered that we were in a backwater. And now every one of those companies who turned me down, and I do remember it, have started and have opened offices that they're very excited about in New York because they know they want to reach the people in this room, the unbelievably talented people that New York attracts and builds this ecosystem. And so that's what we can all feel good about. The number one question I got in 96, 97 was, why is your company in New York? Why isn't it in Boston? That because Wang and Deck had been in Boston. No one in this room even knows these companies. And New York has surpassed Boston on the East Coast. So we're here because New York's an amazing city. I want to echo what Brad said earlier. I find that because New York has always been the second city to Silicon Valley, it actually humbles New York in a way, in a good way. Not really sure what to say about that, but it humbles New York, and so it does make our ecosystem incredibly collaborative. I mean, some of my best friends are people who are in other VC firms, who run other VC firms in here. We work on deals together. We work on nonprofit initiatives together. We raise money for candidates to represent New York tech, and all of that is just creates an incredibly positive atmosphere. So I feel after 30 years as excited to do what I'm doing as I ever have, and I'm so glad that everyone else is here, and I just want to thank Primary again for this award. Thank you very much.